In 2023 alone, over 100,000 Jehovah's Witnesses stopped attending meetings. That's not apostates. That's not people who have been disfellowshipped. They are baptized, active members who simply just walked away. And when you talk to them, a pattern emerges. Many of them left after discovering something. One former elder put it this way: I gave 30 years of my life and tens of thousands of dollars. When I finally saw the financial report from the Australian Royal Commission, I realized I had been funding something completely different than what I was taught. Tonight, we are going to show you exactly what these 100,000 people discovered. The financial revelations shattered their faith in the organization, not in God, but in the man controlling billions of dollars in his name. By the end of this video, you understand why this exodus isn't slowing down. It's actually accelerating. If you're new here, I'm Dr. K, a theologian, polemist, author, and international consultant. In addition to 3 other degrees, I hold 2 PhDs and a degree in theology with distinction. And what sets this channel apart is our relentless pursuit for truth. Here you get what religious institutions and individuals are desperate to keep hidden. Every video peels back the layer, revealing the tactics, the cover-ups, and the real stories behind the doctrine. If you crave for such deep dive, subscribe and smash the notice bell so that you don't miss the next upload. This is a 2-part series, and today we are looking at part 1, the awakening, 3 factors that triggered the Exodus. Let us look at what changed. Why are people living now after decades of loyalty? The answer: information that couldn't be suppressed. Now, for decades, the Watchtower controlled the narrative. They controlled what people watched, what they read, where they went, who their friends were, who they married. Members were told that donations supported missionary work, kingdom hall construction, and disaster relief. Now, questions about finances were discouraged as lack of faith or listening to apostate lies. But 3 seismic events broke the silence and triggered mass exodus. Event number 1, the Australian Royal Commission 2015. When the Australian Commission investigated how Jehovah's Witnesses handled child sexual abuse cases, they demanded complete financial transparency. What they uncovered shocked government investigators. Over 400 properties owned across Australia, more than $32 million in annual donations collected. Tax charitable status despite operating corporate level estate holdings. No mechanism for members to see where the money was going. The Commission's report stated the organization maintains significant financial resources with minimal transparency or accountability to its membership base. One Australian member described his reaction: I had been donating for 25 years. I had no idea we owned 400 properties worth hundreds of millions. Nobody ever told us. When I asked my elders about the Royal Commission findings, they told me to stop reading apostate material. But it wasn't apostate material. It was an official government report with documentation. For thousands of Australian Jehovah's Witnesses, this was the first crack in a wall. Official government investigators, not critics, not ex-members, but neutral authorities had confirmed what many just suspected. The money trail was deliberately hidden. Event number 2, the Brooklyn real estate sales, 2016 to 2018. When headquarters relocated from Brooklyn to Warwick, members were told it was about simplifying operations and better serving Jehovah's purposes. But what they weren't told was the staggering profit involved. 25 to 30 Columbia Heights, $340 million US, sold to Kushner Companies. 360 Fairman Street, $200 million, sold to Fortis Property Group. 85 J Street, $87.5 million. 117 Adams Street, $81 million. Total for 30 properties, $1.2 billion US.
Well, New York's biggest borough could soon see the largest turnovers in real estate, all thanks to one rather unique seller. The Jehovah's Witnesses are planning to sell all 34 of its buildings as they move their operations upstate. Eyewitness News reporter Lisa Calagrassi is live in Brooklyn Heights with what this all means. Lisa.
Well, good morning, David. And the scope of its holdings are massive. 3.2 million square feet. That's more than the Empire State Building, worth roughly $1 billion. Now, once the properties are turned over to private owners, the tax dollars will be flowing.
The witnesses are leaving Brooklyn. The longtime residents of Brooklyn Heights and Dumbo have announced the year when they will finally bid farewell to friends and neighbors.
Well, we can say for sure that we plan on being out of these buildings sometime in 2017 to our new world headquarters in Warwick.
After the sale of the Dumbo property and the Bossert Hotel at Montague Street, the witnesses have stayed tight-lipped on which other properties in their treasure trove will be on the market next. On a recent visit, however, I got a rare look into the iconic Witnesses building, the Watchtower, here at 25 Columbia Heights.
These properties were purchased decades ago with members' donations. Small contributions, $5, $10, $20, from window washers, janitors, nurses, teachers, and retirees who believed that they were supporting God's work. When those buildings were sold for more than $1 billion, members began to ask a simple question. The answer they received from the governing body, a very loud silence. The silence was so loud that it was deafening. Or worse, they were cancelled by elders for causing divisions by asking financial questions. Many of them left after discovering something, and that is where the money goes. $340 million from a single building sale, billions in hidden assets, secret investments in Ireland, dismissed workers after decades of providing free labor, peg that governments across 4 continents have demanded answers. A former elder in New York explained, members would approach me after meetings asking about the Brooklyn sales. They had seen the news reports, $340 million US for one building. They wanted to know if they would get new kingdom halls, if we would fund missionary activities, if there would be disaster relief expansions. Headquarters sent us a letter basically saying, trust that the money is being used for Jehovah's purposes. That wasn't good enough for many people. They had given sacrificially for decades. They deserved transparency. For many, this was their wake-up moment. The realization that they weren't donating to a religion. They were funding a real estate empire that operated with corporate secrecy. Event number 3, the pandemic information explosion, 2020 to 2022. Then came COVID-19. Everything changed.
Just a few months ago, most of us had probably never even heard the word coronavirus. Now the words coronavirus and COVID-19 have become an all too familiar part of our vocabulary. With the world facing this pandemic, everyday life for many of us has been disrupted in ways we might never have imagined. And sad to say, in just a short time, this disease has taken the lives of thousands. to find out how our brothers and sisters are doing and what steps are being taken to assist those facing this serious health crisis. But before we hear from those brothers, please let me share some thoughts with you. The spread of this disease is distressing, to be sure. But we're really not surprised to see the world in the grip of such pestilence, are we? Jesus made it clear at Luke 21:11 that pestilence would be part of the sign of the last days. And in Revelation chapter 6, the ride of the fourth horseman includes mention of deadly plague. So the events unfolding around us are making clearer than ever that we're living in the final part of the last days, undoubtedly the final part of the final part of the last days, shortly before the last day of the last days.
When the pandemic forced meetings online, something unexpected happened. Jehovah's Witnesses from different congregations, different countries, started talking to each other, privately for that matter. Without the controlling environment of Kingdom Halls, information spread rapidly. But uncovering these events was just the beginning. What people discovered next would shatter trust forever. Secret corporate structures, hidden assets, mandatory donation systems, and the heartbreaking dismissal of long-life volunteers.
Here's another recent development. In March 2025, the governing body invited branch committee members 80 years of age or older to consider their circumstances. As a result, some of these dear brothers have made a personal decision that they will no longer serve as branch committee members. Let's hear from a few.
Old age sneaks up on you, and you don't realize at times the limitations that you have. So this was a way for the governing body to help us to just accept the reality of old age and the consequences.
During my almost 77 years of full-time service, I have always experienced that Jehovah's guidance through the faithful slave brings joy and contentment.
I truly believe that this arrangement is an expression of Jehovah's deep love. Even if our assignments change in the future, regardless of what assignment it may be, will be an opportunity to enjoy our service while constantly thinking about pleasing Jehovah.
In part 2, we'll follow the money trail and review why so many walked away. If you have enjoyed this deep dive, kindly do me a favor, like, subscribe, and smash the notice bell so that when I upload part 2 of this series, you'll receive a notification. To continue to part 2 of this 2-part series, click on this link. To watch other videos dealing with Jehovah's Witnesses' secret investments, click on this link.